These are the remains of the Daily Planet, part of the devastated city of Superman's home metropolis. In this alternate universe, millions of people, including Superman's wife Lois Lane, have died due to a nuclear bomb detonated by the Joker. Elsewhere in Gotham City, the Joker is being interrogated by Batman, who demands to know where he got the nuke. An angered Batman lunges over the table to grab the maniac when the wall behind the two explodes violently. As a pissed-off Superman arrives, he orders Batman to step away from the Joker, despite the Dark Knight assuring him he's handling the situation. The Man of Steel stalks towards the Joker before grabbing him and shoves him against the wall. When Superman talks about the loss of Lois and her unborn child, the Joker mockingly tells him to leave so he can escape and make further plans to top the destruction of Metropolis. Pushed to his limit, Superman snatches the Joker by his neck and lifts him off the ground. Batman tries to intervene, but Superman brushes him aside and draws his fist back. This is the story of injustice, Gods Among Us. As always, beware of spoilers and enjoy the story. Elsewhere, in the Prime DC universe, Superman and the Justice League fight against a group of escaped supervillains. While Superman grapples with the God of War Ares, Green Lantern chases after Sinestro, and Shazam furiously attacks Black Adam with Hawkgirl's aid. Meanwhile, on the League's watchtower, the rest of the team confront an armored Lex Luthor, the person responsible behind the supervillains' escape. As Luthor watches his minions do his bidding, Batman weakens Luthor's armored suit by throwing explosive batarangs at him. He then places a device on Luthor's armor and deactivates it, as his beaten cronies are sent through a portal out of the watchtower. Batman contacts Superman and learns the other villains have been dealt with, but a sudden alarm sounds through the watchtower. Cyborg pulls up a screen, and to Batman's horror, they see the Joker and Harley Quinn in the heart of Metropolis with a nuclear device. With no time to lose, Batman issues a code red and gives the League the Joker's coordinates. In the heart of the city, the Joker arms the nuke while Harley Quinn happily watches, before spotting Batman teleporting down close to them. As the Dark Knight hurriedly moves closer to the Joker, the Clown Prince of Crime raises the trigger for the nuke. The League approaches from two fronts, the land and the sky, while the Flash races ahead of them. As Batman and the League charge the Joker, everyone except Flash become engulfed in blue auras of energy before vanishing. Batman and Joker land in a street of Metropolis in the alternate universe, as several armed squads of soldiers arrive and point their weapons at the two. After seeing how vastly outnumbered he is, Batman activates a supersonic disruptor, which causes all the soldiers to double over in pain, and follows it up with a smoke grenade, allowing himself and the Joker to escape. Batman then looks down on this strange new Metropolis, listening in on several radio chatters between the soldiers.
I'm in a nightmare.
Elsewhere, Green Lantern, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, and Green Arrow look over a very different Gotham City, discussing what possibly happened to send them where they are. The group decides to split up to find more answers, with Aquaman heading to Atlantis to search the archives for answers, and the rest investigating the streets of Gotham. They are forced to flee into the back alleys at the sound of police sirens, and as they hide, they run into the Dark World's Batman. Back on the Prime Earth, Superman oversees the Flash and Cyborg as they work diligently to find their missing friends. Despite having no leads to their locations, Superman assures them they will find them. The story shifts to the undersea kingdom of Atlantis, where Prime Earth's Aquaman masquerades as his doppelganger and speaks with an Atlantean historian. He quickly learns that the destruction of this world's metropolis had caused the grief-stricken Superman to murder the Joker, and sees absolute power by creating his own government called the Regime. With Superman reigning as the supreme ruler, the Regime brought several superheroes in as his enforcers, virtually eliminating crime as they took on the roles of judge, jury, and executioner. Before Aquaman can learn more, he sees this world's Flash and Shazam have brought him a treaty this world's Aquaman is to sign. Upon reading it, Aquaman learns that Superman plans to subjugate and control Atlantis' armies. Outraged, he refuses to sign the treaty, prompting Flash and Shazam to attack him. Aquaman manages to knock Shazam out briefly before engaging the Flash and defeating him. Just then, several soldiers charge into the room, with this world's Aquaman following them, confirming to Arthur that he is in a parallel dimension. Upon expressing his disgust that his twin would submit to Superman, the parallel Aquaman sicks his soldiers on Arthur. defeating them with ease. He engages his doppelganger in battle and manages to overcome him. More soldiers arrive, but they all mysteriously freeze in place as Ares appears. Ares states that his powers are almost gone, as Superman has nearly eliminated conflict from this world. He then reveals that Aquaman's friends are with this world's Batman. Aquaman demands to be taken to them, to which Ares complies. At the same time, in the insurgency's headquarters, Green Arrow waits with Green Lantern and Wonder Woman close by. When Aquaman suddenly appears to their surprise, he explains his encounter with their doppelgangers.
Not our Ares.
We know. Meet not our Batman.
As Batman says that they joined Superman out of fear and have lost sight of what's right. When Aquaman asks if Batman is the only good one left, this world's Lex Luthor walks in. Shocking the heroes, Luthor explains that he is Superman's best friend in this world, but funds the insurgency in secret. Batman then explains that he brought them all specifically to help him unlock a kryptonite weapon he had created. While reluctant to use such a weapon on Superman, they agree to help him. The scene shifts to the alternate world's Fortress of Solitude, where Wonder Woman walks in to talk with Superman. Though he barely responds, she then asks him if he's comfortable with their relationship, and he assures her that he is. Diana leaves, as Hal Jordan, who is a Yellow Lantern in this world, steps in to inform them about the arrival of the duplicates. An annoyed Superman orders them to be found and brought to him immediately. Back in Gotham City, the Joker watches the Prime Batman be captured by the regime. Unaware he is another duplicate, the Joker watches Yellow Lantern and Hawkgirl leave with Batman, and is then confronted by this world's Harley Quinn. Harley initially thinks he is an imposter in a Joker costume, but quickly realizes that he is the real Joker, though not the one from her world. Back at the regime headquarters, Yellow Lantern strips the captured Batman of his equipment in his cell. Superman steps into the cell and quickly realizes this is not their Batman after scanning him with his X-ray vision. Back on Prime Earth, the Flash and Cyborg inform Superman that they have discovered the location of their friends on a parallel Earth. They then explain their plan to modify the Flash's cosmic treadmill to pull all the heroes back at once without risking anyone else going over to that world. The insurgent Batman leads the duplicate heroes to his locked-down mansion to retrieve the weapon, and disables the security system keeping them out. As they enter the Batcave, Batman explains that the weapon was DNA locked with members of the Justice League. But since the other heroes chose to side with Superman, he had to bring the duplicate heroes to his world to regain the weapon. He then places a rock atop a scanning device and has all of the members place their hands on individual scanners. The rock is destroyed, revealing a metallic case with the weapon and a piece of kryptonite inside it. Back on the Prime Earth, Cyborg and Flash have completed modifications to the cosmic treadmill, and while Flash finds the right frequency to the alternate Earth, the machine goes haywire. Despite Superman's orders to shut it down, Cyborg tries to salvage the test, only to be drawn into the alternate Earth himself. Cyborg is teleported inside a cave structure, where he meets up with his fellow League members and the insurgent Batman. He is brought up to speed on the situation and suggests they return to the Prime Earth to bring reinforcements. But Batman suddenly storms in and turns on a news announcement, where Superman declares Batman's capture and planned execution in a press conference. But of course, this is not the Batman of his world but the duplicate, and the heroes realize it is a trap to lure them all out. With no time left to get help, Cyborg then lays out a plan to take over the Watchtower and gain access to its teleporters to safely remove Batman from prison. The heroes devise a plan with Cyborg disguising himself as his counterpart. Deathstroke decides to go with Cyborg, and the two teleport onto the Watchtower. Cyborg quickly gains control over the teleportation controls, and Deathstroke moves ahead to scout the area. He comes across Flash and Shazam, both conversing over their worries over Superman's increasingly ruthless actions. Before they can discuss further, Deathstroke reveals himself, luring Flash into several explosives that knock him out and injure Shazam. He quickly heads for the reactor core of the Watchtower, sabotaging it and setting the station to explode in less than 90 minutes. Deathstroke returns to the teleportation chamber, where Cyborg contacts Batman and informs him of the Watchtower's imminent destruction, urging him and the others to hurry. Superman has amassed a massive brigade of soldiers along with all his generals as they await the duplicate hero's arrival. Suddenly, Prime Aquaman rises out of the seas. Armed with his trident and a swarm of massive crab beasts. as the Man of Steel gives the signal to begin the attack. The battle between the regime and Aquaman's forces begins, with Superman attempting to get to Arthur himself.
Can we play too?
Only to be intercepted by Green Lantern and Wonder Woman. Inside the prison, Batman and Arrow have managed to infiltrate the cells and find the cell containing Bruce's duplicate. The two start to carry off the injured Batman. As the fight rages on outside the prison, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, and Green Lantern use their combined attacks to keep Superman occupied. Green Lantern attempts to trap him in a cage construct, but Superman destroys it with his greater willpower and chases Hal into the sky. As he grabs his arms and begins to pull them from their sockets, he sees a wall on the prison explode and flies down to investigate. Green Arrow begins to panic when he and the two Batmen don't teleport, while Cyborg curses as the equipment is unable to lock onto them. The three attempt to flee when they are confronted by Superman himself. Superman shouts that he has perfected this world and laments the loss of innocent lives years ago, saying he could have saved them if he had not held back all of his power. With no other choice, the two Batmen and Green Arrow suddenly jump off the prison, only to finally teleport to safety. Superman angrily realizes the watchtower has been compromised and flies straight for the station, only to be pushed back as it explodes. As he fumes with rage, his super hearing suddenly picks up Lex Luthor's voice shouting at him from Earth.
Superman! Your time is over!
Infuriated to be challenged, Superman flies back down to Earth and heads straight for Luthor. Luthor prepares the kryptonite weapon, but just as Superman is in range, Shazam attacks him with a stream of lightning, allowing Superman to tackle him into the ground as news helicopters broadcast the battle. Standing over the wounded Luthor, Superman is shocked by his best friend's betrayal, but Lex weakly asks him who betrayed whom. Ripping Lex out of his destroyed warsuit, Superman snarls that he gave him and the world peace, but Luthor calls his peace a joke. Outraged, Superman begins to choke Lex before snapping his neck and killing him. Horrified as he stands over his best friend's body, Superman hears the people's disgusted reactions. Screaming in anguish, he flies back into the sky as Shazam watches him go. Sometime later, Superman and his generals are gathered in his fortress of solitude, and while the Man of Steel sits away from them deep in contemplation, Wonder Woman reveals that the duplicates have incited insurrection in the people. Superman begins to rant about how he made the people safe, but all they do is complain and side with the criminals. Rising up, he declares that he will destroy both Gotham and Metropolis to set an example, and then invade the home dimension of the duplicates. Shazam is disturbed by Superman's plans and tells him that he is going too far. When Superman orders him to be quiet, Shazam states that Lois would never have wanted this.
Lois would never want it.
After killing the boy, Superman then gives out orders to each of them, and with one last glance at Billy's body, he and his followers depart to begin their plans. The Flash watches them go, before finally agreeing with Shazam, saying this is not what they signed up for. When Yellow Lantern writes Shazam off as a casualty of war, Flash is enraged and sadly admits that he deluded himself into believing they were doing the right thing. Refusing to participate any longer, Flash races off, but Lantern tries to stop him by sealing the door off with a wall construct. Flash simply vibrates through it and races out of the fortress and goes all the way from Antarctica back to North America in under 10 seconds. Already back in Gotham, he sees a bright beam of yellow light and finds Sinestro rallying the One Earth's forces and preparing to execute soldiers sympathetic to the insurgency.
I don't think so.
The Flash disarms every soldier and confronts Sinestro, but the alien warlord easily captures him in a construct and flings him away. After getting up, he races off to warn the insurgents of Superman's plan. In the insurgency's underground headquarters, Flash promises the insurgents that he's on their side now and tells them about Superman's plans to destroy Gotham and Metropolis before invading the Duplicate's dimension. Since their plan to utilize the kryptonite weapon failed, the insurgency Batman tells them that he's sending them back to their world. Wonder Woman reminds him of Luthor's sacrifice and refuses to leave until they've seen the battle to its end. The Prime Universe Batman suddenly brings up an alternative, bringing their Superman over to finish the fight. The doubtful insurgency Batman refuses, but Wonder Woman insists that their Superman is nothing like this world's. Meanwhile in Metropolis, the regime forces march on, laying waste to all in their path, while the homicidal Superman destroys the bridges out of the city with his heat vision, grinning cruelly as he watches cars filled with screaming people plummet into the waters below. And in Gotham, Sinestro observes the regime forces battling the resistance as the members of the insurgency do their best to stop the regime generals. In the Batcave, the insurgent Batman announces that once he's done working on the transporter, he's sending him and his friends home, but Prime Batman refuses to leave, stating that the insurgency will die without their help. The insurgency Batman admits this might be his fate and moves towards the transporter, but his alternate tackles him. Asking him to trust them and himself, the Prime Batman convinces his counterpart to activate the transporter to bring in some support. Brought up to speed on the entire situation and observing the destruction of both cities, Superman decides they should work together to prevent more casualties.
I realize this isn't entirely accurate, but it's good to have you back.
In the streets of Gotham, the insurgents continue their intense battle against the regime generals. As Black Adam picks up a car to crush the King of the Seas, it suddenly explodes in his hands. The fighting stops in an instant as everyone looks up and sees the heroic duplicate of Superman approaching from the air. Adam attempts to strike him, only to be punched down an entire street with a single blow. He attempts another rush, only to find himself suddenly encased in ice by the Man of Steel's freeze breath. Superman is suddenly crushed under a massive mace construct by Sinestro. The battles stop as everyone watches the mace slam down several more times.
Not so super, was he?
Sinestro's punch is easily caught by Clark, who calmly takes the lantern's ring off his hand, depowering him instantly. Without a word, Hal slips his own ring off and hands it over to Superman. With the regime generals taken care of, and only one last opponent left, Prime Superman heads to the Fortress of Solitude to find his counterpart. The villainous Superman floats down to face him, proclaiming that he does not belong in this world. The two Supermen face off in the Fortress of Solitude, their power equal and their battle devastating. But Prime Superman triumphs over his insane counterpart and declares his reign over. Moments later, the insurgency Batman and the rest of the members arrive, all of them surrounding the beaten tyrant. Over the next several days, Superman's One Earth regime is dismantled, with his enforcers arrested, including the Flash, who turns himself in to atone for his part in Superman's rule. The Joker is returned to Prime Earth, with the Prime Batman waiting to take him back to Arkham. The Prime Hal Jordan brings the depowered Sinestro and his alternate before the Guardians, while the alternate Diana has her crown and title stripped from her by the Amazons and imprisoned. Cyborg goes to Lex Luthor's grave and somberly lays a piece of his armor against his headstone before departing. Finally, the Prime Superman and alternate Batman converse in front of a cell window, as Superman admits that if he was ever put in the same position, he is unsure of what he would truly be capable of. Batman tells him he better never find out for his world's sake. The evil Superman is locked in a prison cell surrounded by red sun ray lamps, his expression twisted with rage as his eyes slowly burn red. If you enjoyed this video, check out these other stories on the channel, and be sure to like and subscribe, and turn on notifications for new content every week. Thanks for watching, and I'll be seeing you in another lore.